everybody, welcome to Harpy Stitch. I'm Amy. It has been a wonderful spring break for me, and this is our 23rd episode and the 9th week of my year of 50 starts for my 50th birthday. It has been my spring break. It is 56 degrees outside today. Earlier in the week there was blizzard conditions in part of the state, and we're expecting another snowstorm next week, so that is life in Minnesota in the spring. We were going to go see the kid on Wednesday. That did not work out because there were blizzard conditions down where they live. Not here. We barely got any snow, but we put it off till yesterday, which was Saturday. So it is March 9th, and I have to return to work tomorrow. It is the final trimester of school. The last day for the kids is right after Memorial Day. It's that first week of June. And then we have one workshop day after that. And it will be summertime. I was considering looking for a job near where my kid lives, and I'm still keeping an eye out there just because it would be nice to be near them. But while I was doing that, I found 4 media specialist, the new fancy term for librarian, jobs in a place closer to my home, only about 40 minutes away instead of an hour. So there were 3 elementary positions and 1 high school. I applied for them this morning. I am crossing my fingers. I've had lots of stitchy time. It's been wonderful. I did some thrifting with the husband. We had a doctor's appointment. Got cuddle time with the kitty. Let's see what else has been going on. Oh, I still have not gotten my new glasses since the problem with my lens. So I was trying to stitch yesterday at my kid's house where there's not as good a light, and I got a little bit of a headache. And it was really nice not needing to use magnifiers, and with the old lenses I kind of need magnifiers even for 14 count. So that was challenging. But I have magnifiers, so it's okay. And they're these ones that slide right over my glasses. In fact, where are they? Somebody was, here they are. So there are these things, and they flip up, and you pinch. I shared this with another Flosstuber one day. So you can do this, and then look up and not have your magnifiers on, and then you just flip them down. And, you know, they're very stylish, as you can see. But they do work pretty well. I've scratched mine up a bit, but they still work. So it's better than my old prescription. So then, tell you what, the biggest problem I have with them is that there's these little rubber things on them, and if you move them up too much or too hard, those little rubber things will slip off. So you just put them back on as long as you don't lose them. So that's a nice little thing. Flosstube, itchy nose. So let's get on. Ooh, excuse me, I forgot to put something in reach. Let's get on with the stitching. I will share you some of the stuff I got at the thrift store a little later. So one of my whip go calls was number 9, and for me that meant fully finish an object. I was going to try to frame 2 of my pieces, and though the frame was okay size-wise, I had forgotten to factor in that there is a white part on the printed fabric at the bottom. I didn't scooch up the design. So if I just framed it without a mat, you'll see the white. But the mat that came with the frame, it was actually designed for 3 pictures, so I would have to cut out part of it. And then the edges of that mat, because I was considering doing that, the edges of that mat were right on top, like right touching the outside stitches on the left and right, but there was lots of space on the top and bottom. So I think what I'm going to do is take the frame and the mat and the piece to Michael's and see if they'll custom cut 2 matching mats for me, so that, because the Dead Outlaw female and the Dead Outlaw are going to go together, and that way the mats will match and I don't have to worry about color lots changing or anything like that for the mats. So we shall see what comes of that. And then I have to do some finagling with this frame that I bought for the the dumb shit pattern that I did. Mad Morty, thank you for the suggestion on maybe some ways to play with it since it's ceramic and I can't just tap, tap, tap a new hanger on the back. So I haven't gotten up the nerve to try any of that yet, but I will. But I do have some fully finished objects. So this is actually a start and finish. This was a kit that came in one of my World of Cross Stitching. It is designed by Doreen Jones, and it is, I finished this from stitching to the fully finished in one day. So it came with a little wooden insert that's behind that. It came with this keychain, and it came with a back. So it is a Doreen Jones piece, and very cute. That was the cat jumping up by the couch. Let me pull that back a bit. Kitty. And I don't know if you can hear the water dripping. It is running on purpose. We went to the kids' house and we forgot to put out the ground meat we need for burgers tonight when we got home. So I did that in a little while ago, and it is too close to dinner time to let it thaw naturally. So you might hear drippy water. And now I have a kitty in my lap and I have to keep him away from my things. So I thought about painting the little piece of wood, but I didn't. You cannot have the keychain, kitty. That is, no, that's Mommy's. I know you like little metal things. See, he's trying to commit cat crimes again. Look, you're on camera. Meow, meow. Look, there's your space. There's your face. All right, go on. Go play with Daddy. Not the keychain. No, you can't have, no. He likes silver metal things. He doesn't want the stitchy part. He wants the metal thing. So then I also fully finished my Catula bookmark by Catula by Brom Stroker. And I did a really simple finish on it. I just got some sticky back felt, which I went to Joann's because my local Joann's finally opened to basically sell off all the stuff they have left. And that was the only place I know in town that I can get this, and cat hair, of course. So this is fully finished, and I will give it before the end of the year as a gift to the person who is letting me use their room for night school. I try to always leave it neat and clean, but it's still an inconvenience to have somebody else in your space sometimes. I had finished this red panda design, which I believe is also Doreen Jones. And I finally put it on the card. So I have 4 fully finished, and 2 of those are Safs. So I started this Friday, and I started this yesterday, and I finished it up this morning because I was so close. This is what I was working on at my kids' house, and it was really hard because some of those beiges and browns are so close together with the bad lighting. I actually had to turn on my cell phone flashlight to distinguish between the colors. But it's just a little Rudolph card. So I finished up his snout and the back stitch this morning, and then cut him out and placed him on this card that came with him. So 4 fully finished objects and 2 starts and finishes since my last. That was also number 5 finish of the year, and it was my 12th start. So doing pretty good on the starts. Staying, I'm not, well, let's see, no, just, yeah, 2 starts. I finished 2 of my March starts already. So, that's kind of nice. I won't have to worry about that. I have 2 more starts to do in March. One of them is another little kit thing. And then one is a really big project, which is going to be great because it is awesome. One of the first things I worked on this week for March Madness was my Deadly Aquarium Sal. I finished Exhibit 2 and I started on Exhibit 3. So this is, of course, by Lola Crow. I am doing it on Sequoia by Atomic Ranch Fabrics. It is on 32 count. I started this on my birthday last year. This was my birthday start. So let's see. I want to fold it so that it's not see-through, but you can see where I've gotten to. So I had to finish this column because I messed up when I was counting it the first time, so I frogged all that. And then I finished the blowfish and the seaweed. Look at his little face. And I had already had Exhibit 1 done, and I got started on the coral for Exhibit 3. So I really love this. I know it's called Sequoia, but to me it reminds me of the green of tidal pools. So I am looking forward to finishing this and getting it framed. It's the only thing that's really blending into the background is this part right here, but it won't when it's filled in because I know everything is filled in next to it. So and I already know what's going to be there. So yes, good progress on that. Excuse me, gotta take a drink. I will definitely get this framed and hang it up somewhere in my house. And then at some point I plan on doing the haunted library. I want to do the greenhouse. I want to do the ballroom. And I'm sure I'll want to do the birds, that is the Extraordinary Birds style that is starting in April. But I've already got my 50 starts picked, so I'm going to stick with those because a lot of those are ones that I have been wanting to start for a while now. My next thing I want to show you is my It Cell by A Stitch in My Side, Robin Allen. I started this on January 6th. This is another stitch along I didn't keep up with. And I was feeling so good because I got the mummy done and everything. And then I realized there's a mistake. When I went in to put in the blood dripping from the bird's beak, I realized that everything down here is 2 rows too long. So, you know, patterns have that gray, 2 rows of grayed out. On the multi-page that I got, the gray is very faded. So when I was doing the kitchen or the bathroom sink here, I accidentally did this part twice. I was only supposed to have 2 red stitches on the side, and everything should be up 2. And so the mummy's 2 rows too long, the bird's 2 rows too long, and those little legs are 2 rows too low. So I was not in the mood to frog. So what I did is I jumped back up to the top, and I finished the title, Losers Club. And what I did with Losers Club is I blended 321 DMC and a 12 321 because they have slightly different shades. That way, if I wanted to, and I didn't do it when I went down here, and I might go back and change it since I got to frog it all anyway. But I don't need to frog this part. I just need to frog from like here down. I decided to do that so if I wanted to do the blood and sparkly thread, it wouldn't be too contrasting to it wouldn't clash with the 2 different shades of red. But now that it's blended, it's okay. So yeah, I got lots of progress, and then I'm gonna have to undo a lot of it, and I just couldn't face it yet, so I moved to another part. So I will get back to that, and I thought about leaving it, but then I felt I would need to, there's under here there is Bill's bike, and then the paper boat that he makes for his brother Georgie, and then below that are the kids matched up with the thing that scares them. And I realized that if I left them long and lanky like this, I would have to figure out where to extend everybody else so they looked okay, and probably make the kids longer too, which would throw off everything. So I am in a frog, just I'm not ready yet. But it's okay. Frogging happens. It's just part of life. Now, I did get to work on my New Year, New Start this week. This is Dragons at the Sabbat, art by Ann Stokes, charted by Paine Free Crafts. It is on, what count? I think it's 25 count. Yeah, 25 count. Or no, this is 28 count even weave. Creation is Blue by Fabric Flare. And see, on my Dead Outlaw Female, I didn't cut this off before I measured, and so that's why it's all messed up on the front. But, alright, so, Dragons is a bat. I did a center start. I'm skipping all the 310, so this fabric will show through. Now you'll see here, that is actually 939, and that little bit in the middle is supposed to be 310, but I'm leaving the 310 out. I may end up going back and frogging some of the 939 here and these little stuff, these little like dark circles, because that I think might be part of the 310, but I think it also works as a shadow of the device or whatever it is. I don't know. It's not a device, but the framing part of the pattern. So this, I got work on this for one day, and I got over 700 stitches in one day. So you're starting to really see that center star. Yes. And I also think one of the reasons I'm not messing with the 939 is there are some of the dragons that have this like are blue and stuff and white. So I think leaving the 939 because they have kind of a border around them of that too. It'll give it kind of an outline. So I'm trying not to do too much of the 939 in case I decide I don't want it there. But for right now, it's staying. I want it gives it a little depth. So I love the purples. Look at all that purple. I know it's kind of washing out, but so yeah, this is the project I made the most progress on this week. Let's see. I did write down all my start dates and stuff, but now I'm not remembering to say it, and it's okay. Another thing that I picked for March Madness to work on was Sepita by Maroomy Designs. And I got quite a bit done on her too. So here she is. Now, because I chose yellow fabric, this Yellowstone by Needle Bling, what I did is the part that I've left yellow is what you're supposed to stitch. And it looks a lot like the cover photo, because in the cover photo, the background was blue and the stitched part was white. But what I did is, since I had this beautiful yellow, I am stitching the negative space on the design. So I'm definitely doing this on paper because there's no way you could put that in Pattern Keeper. But look, I've got to the other side of her hair. There's her other arm. Here's the top of the mountains that are in her skirt. And a little bit, there's a sun ray. So look at that. Now I am using DMC 4240, which is Midsummer Night Sky or something. What is it? Midsummer Night. And I am not doing one X at a time. I'm going across and then coming back with the variegated thread. And this is a deliberate choice. I wanted it to kind of look like, you know, in the mornings and the evenings when the sky's changing colors and you get kind of the lines and the dusky, different colors in dusk. And they kind of go horizontal lines with it. I wanted that effect, but I didn't want it to be too stripy. I wanted it to be kind of jumpy like it is, and like it's not all blue and it's not straight, because that's not what the sky looks like at dusk. So so I'm going across and coming back, doing 1/1 on the 32, because I kind of want that. And I know you can't see the understitch, the underleg of the X, but there's little tiny bits that peek out on occasion, so it adds a little bit of texture, which I really like for this one. And you know, this was a deliberate choice. I haven't used variegated thread very much, as you know, if you watched me talk about Dancing in the Moonlight, which I did finish. I was so excited. But yes, I like the way that it's banded on her belt there. And so yes, she is coming along nicely. Oh, let's see, what is next? Oh yes, I forgot to write this one down, but I did work on Halloween Fairy as well this week. And I was getting kind of tired of the brown in her skirt. So what I did is I worked around on the bottom of the skirt here so that I could get down, so I could work on the vine with the Kryneck, which is sparkly, because I wanted to get down to the orange of the pumpkins. I really like the way the orange pops on this yellow. And my trickiest part is, once I get, I think, all this, the main part of her dress done and the pumpkins, I'm gonna need to switch over to doing beads. There is a moon up here, but it's the only thing, it's gonna be, if I try to count straight from her head, it's gonna be a bitch, excuse me. But there's like nothing connecting it except for strings of beads, so I'll have to put in the beads before I do the actual X's on the moon because of the amount of space. And since I'm doing it 2/2, I think I would miscount really badly if I didn't do my beads and back stitchy kind of stuff to get there. So she's looking beautiful. I know Nautalota Stitches did this in a different colorway, and she switched the dress to purple, and it was gorgeous. So I love when people change stuff, and I think I have my camera a little high, but that's okay. I love when people change stuff. I have changed things occasionally, but I do not have the guts to convert the full pattern to another color. So I'm looking forward to finishing her. I'm gonna have to have multiple walls. Like, do I put her on the Halloween wall? Do I put her on a wall of women? What do I do with her? Because she fits in both places. Maybe I move her to the Halloween wall for or seasonal wall, I guess, for most everything I stitch is Halloween. I don't have a lot of Christmas, although I am gonna, most of the Christmas stuff I have are like little cards, gift tags, that kind of thing. But maybe I need to do some more Christmas and I have a wall where I switch out seasonal decorations. Who knows? All right, next was Frogworks Year 4. This is by Black Needle Society. I started this on May 4th of last year. May 4th, because that was before the first retreat and I wanted to get down. I had to start on Year 4 so I could work on Year 5 if I didn't finish the rest. Actually, no, I did that differently. I usually am a center starter, but because I was putting them all on one, I started with the top left side of Year 1 and worked my way down. So, excuse me again. This is on 32 count stone washed by Seraphim, 2/2, and you can't see them, but the footprints, the Marauder's footprints, are designed by Nautalota Stitches. All right, so here is my Year 4. Ooh, let's pull it back a little bit. All right, so last time I just had part of the carriage. I got more of the goldy part of the carriage. Here is the bottom of the goblet, and I wanted to make sure I got my challenge stitches in, so I jumped up here and I wanted to do the blue flame from the goblet, and I did it in DMC Étoile, so you can see just a little bit I wanted to get in the etoile. The hoops I turned into a toile. I got some. I didn't do anything down there. But yeah, so I almost finished the goblet. And this one will be, I think, moving on. No, wait, Sapita's moving on to the next round for March Madness. There were a couple of times where, a couple of days this week where I had a project picked for the day for March Madness that I didn't want to stitch on. So I just skipped it. And then it got 0 stitches, and then the other one automatically moved on. So, but it's kind of fun. You couldn't change. I did check and see if I could just flop a day, and they said no, because Dragons of Sabbat, I wasn't supposed to work on that until the second half of my Sweet 16 for March Madness. But I really felt on working on it one day, so I replaced one of the years of Frogwarts. I think it was year 2 with Dragons of Sabbat, and just took 0 stitches for March Madness on it. But then I got like 700 and something stitches in Dragons, so that was awesome. All right, last whip for you is my Seductive Kermit. This is my second time stitching this. I'm doing it for a friend this time. It met one of my prompts, and I'm actually was supposed to stitch it yesterday, but I stitched on it the day before because I knew visiting the kid I wouldn't probably have time, and it's 32 count, and there's no way I would have been able to work on it at her house. So I came up here and I filled in the little banner, or the stage light marquee. It's the marquee. The gold around the marquee, and then the outline here. And the next thing I'll work on is putting in the letters. And I got some of this put in. I filled in this darker red here and then moved over here. So he is coming along nicely. And again, I thought about putting a 12 for here, and then the first time, and I didn't do it, and I didn't do it this time either. But it looks so cute the way it is. It was okay. All right, so when we went thrifting, we found a carpet steamer for 20 bucks, a Bissell carpet steamer for 20 bucks, and it works. I tested it out, and it works great. The only thing I noticed that might be a problem with it is the little trigger you get for it to suction harder gets stuck in the sucking position, and you just flip the bottom of it, and it works just fine. The other thing I got was stitchy related. So I know not everybody likes the plastic hoops. I like these ones because they've got this little ridge. So you stretch this over, and then the fabric, it goes inside here, and then it closes. So and these are good for framing too. But I like it because I think that holds the tension better than a straight up hoop. But they had a set, or a group, I shouldn't say a set. They had a group of 5 10-inch hoops of these things for $4.99. So yeah, I grabbed them. So yeah, I got 5 10-inch hoops for $5. I was very thrilled. It was too good of a deal to pass up. So I had previously made 2 project bags with the help of a friend. Today I made my first project bag all by myself. When I went to Joann's last weekend, it was crazy. It was a madhouse. I did not get the vinyl I was going for. I went back Friday just to see if they had anything, because I needed to go try to find the right prongs for a blender that we got. But Joann's was all out of the vinyl. I'm pretty sure somebody bought the whole roll. However, in fandom, when I was talking about where am I going to get my vinyl with no Joann's, one of the leaders, Natasha, she said that what she does is she gets the clear vinyl tablecloths at Walmart or Amazon, and she cuts those up and uses them for her vinyl project bags. So I tried a vinyl shower curtain. The material was too thin. It felt like it was going to push through. And then I broke down and got a vinyl tablecloth. Now, it is not as thick as the vinyl that comes from Joann's for such projects, but my first solo project bag. Now, I say it's solo because my friend that helped me last time was not here. I did it all by myself, unless you count the fact that I was watching Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch tutorial video. My brain was trying to put a possessive apostrophe S on the end of her Flosstube channel name, and it just didn't work. So I got this fabric. I got a yard of it. Until this year, or a year before, Michaels would get these yards of seasonal fabric, and I love this crazy pumpkin with the pink and the crazy pumpkins. Not normally a pink person, but in this case, it really worked for me. So I did this all by myself this morning. I got a little bit of the tablecloth vinyl is not as thick, which I think makes it easier for the machine, but you also get it a little bit easier for it to, it pinched here. I am still working on my technique. It didn't quite line up here when I was finishing up, but I think it turned out really well for my first solo attempt. And my corners are definitely better than the last time I tried this. So I've been picking up random pieces of fabric. The purple here is literally something I had left over from a project where I made my child a dress and a sundress and a little matching bag. And this was the inner lining. And I thought it went nicely with this. I have a few charms that I grabbed at Joann's that were for Halloween. I am going to probably put one of them on here as a zipper pull, because that little thing is very teeny tiny. So yeah, I made my first solo project bag and didn't totally screw it up. So yay. That is all the stitchy stuff I have for you. I actually got time to watch Flosstube, so I have a few shout outs. I got caught up on Kelly, Animal Instincts again. Got all of her videos. Sorry, I was pushing something out of the way. I was almost out of frame. I got caught up on her whip parade. She had a nice trip to the UK. Her projects are looking great. As usual, I am so impressed with how much she's gotten done on Firefly since I saw it last. Beautiful stitching. I am really jealous at her Book of Shadows, which I still want to try one of Living on the Rainbow's designs. I'm sorry, it is really dry, and my mouth is really dry. I also, and I know many of you already know him, but Stuart in Stitches, I found his channel recently, and I was thinking yesterday, ooh, I'm all caught up, and then he released a new one this morning, so I watched that this morning as well while I applied for jobs and did a couple other things. He is from Scotland. He has a lovely accent. His voice is very soothing. He has beautiful projects, wide variety. He's very kind and welcoming. I even messaged him to say, hey, I'm working on that too on Instagram, and it was really nice. So yeah, he does a lot of spooky stitching like I do. He's got a lot more projects on the go than I do, though. I might be catching up to some of these people with larger whip counts now. Although I did 2 starts and 2 finishes in the last week. So, but again, I did pick a lot of small. I knew if I tried to, I didn't have a way to kit up 50 large projects too. I just don't have the time. And honestly, I love the process of stitching and I really enjoy it. And I have several things that I haven't framed, but they're finished and they're waiting. I really just like doing the stitching. but it is nice when you have a bunch of big projects to have a few small ones, so you can get that little hit of, ooh, I finished. Sals are good for that too, because you can say, ooh, I have a finish when you're just done with part of one. So, oh, I finished a section. That's a finish. Yay! I have all this other part of it to do, but I have a finish, so it counts, right? Yeah, it counts. I think the next time I know I have time off will be Easter weekend, which is also my birthday weekend. I will have a 3-day weekend, so I will be doing a lot of Flosstube again then. I have my Stitchy meetup. I started hosting a get-together for Stitchers who want to stitch with other people in person. We're supposed to do that again on Saturday. It's very informal. Nobody came last month, but I think it was because it was the day after Valentine's Day was the day we happened to schedule it. So I can't remember if it's Saturday or Sunday. I'll have to look. I don't know. I'll have to see if anybody else has signed up to come. So as to what I've watched, I did get to see a couple of cinematic stitches, Michaela's Flosstubes, and I did take her recommendation on a horror movie called The Presence. It is a great ghost movie. My husband is a big fan of the director, Soderbergh. I think it's Soderbergh. It was really good, very creepy, very unique approach to a ghost movie. So if you like scary stuff, if you like horror, I would recommend that one. Another thing that we watched was The Last Showgirl, starring Pamela Anderson. You may, if you are a child of the 80s and 90s, remember her from Baywatch and a few other things that I'm not going to mention on YouTube. There was a scandal, is all I'm going to say. It is a great drama, and the way it ended, I have some questions, and I can't wait to see if there's like a director's commentary thing, because I would really like to see some of the stuff, because I think I picked up on some stuff that makes me think a certain thing happened at the end, but I am not sure if I am correct, and I don't want to do any spoilers, so but there were some things going on and I'm like, I wonder if this is what it seems to be. So that is really what we've been watching, other than Doctor Who for my weekly challenges, some House when my husband's playing video games and we don't want to commit to anything else. So he's been doing a rewatch of House, and I catch up with a few of them on time to time. And then mostly I've been wanting to have him play his video games so I could listen to more Dungeon Crawler Carl. We're on book 4 now, and oh my gosh, it just keeps getting more intense. It's funny. If you like role-playing games, tabletop, video games, I really recommend it. The guy who does the reading, the book for the audiobook, is so good. He has very distinct voices. He voices all the characters, and his character voices are very distinct for each major character, and it is really entertaining. In fact, we listened to music on the way down to the kids' house yesterday, and I was like, can we please listen to Dungeon Crawler on the way home? So that's what we did on the way home, is we listened to Dungeon Crawler Carl as I drove 2.5 hours from seeing the kid. But it was a good day. It was a nice quiet week. I got some rest, slept in a little bit. The time change is messing with me today because we lost an hour of sleep last night, because spring forward for the time if you're in the U.S. Well, most of the U.S. There's a few places that skip it, and I wish we all would. That's about all I got for you. I look forward to seeing you again next week. My big project won't be started until a little later in the month. Well, you know what? Maybe I will start it before then. Who knows? But I hope you are all doing well, and for my new subscribers, thank you for coming by. I am only 2 subscribers away from 150. which is kind of awesome. You know, please like, comment, subscribe if you are enjoying my projects. Please feel free to ask me any questions in the comments, or I have it in my email, harpystitch@gmail.com is in there. I have a small store on Etsy. I'm hoping to add some more patterns to it soon. I keep saying that and then I get busy and I forget. And actually, if you miss having my husband around in the videos or his editing, he has great visual sense, and so we're probably going to be working on some pattern designs together. Me with the cross stitch side, him with the art arrangement kind of side. So some of the stuff on there might be his designs, and I will have to model stitch them at some point, probably during this summer, not during this school year. So just, you know, little, and some of them are probably going to be Dungeon Crawler car related, because there are some great quotes that would make great samplers. And they're a bit snarky too, so it'll be fun. Other than that, I'm on Bluesky, I'm on Stitchmunity, which if you haven't checked out, I really recommend a couple of the cross stitchers made it for just stitchy stuff, and the interactions, you know, the setup for setting up your post is really nice. There's just a few people on there, and they're still working on it, so you can search for people, like you can search for your friends on it. So it's still early stages, but please swing by and check it out. Now I'm just rambling, so I think it's time to wrap it up. I hope you all have a great week. May today be kinder to you than yesterday, and tomorrow be kinder to you today. Have a great week. Bye.